Ladies and gentlemen, they're a band we've all come to love up here in Canada. Here to talk about their seventh studio record called The Wanderer. That's available now, by the way. Please welcome Colin and John Angus from the Trews. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. How are you? It's going good, man.
Thank you for coming on the show. Meet me for coffee. We talk about coffee and the art of conversation with music and whatever. How do you take your coffee, John Angus?
I'm 2 milk, no sugar. I go for Americano if I can, but at home I just brew a big old Chemex and chip away at it all day.
What about Colin?
I'm just black. Either a venti pike, just black, or I really like instant coffee. Actually, I'm not too much. I mean, I like a good Americano, but yeah, I just always take it black.
Yeah, same here, man. The Americano is where it's at. I do double espresso. I just got hooked on this this whiskey called Cavi whiskey. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like a cold brew whiskey. Found it at the LCBO. And for those of you listening around North America and around the world, it's like a cold brew whiskey. And we have a store here in Ontario, Canada, where it's like you can only get your booze from that store. It's called the LCBO. We're here to talk about The Wanderer. Had a chance to check it out. Man, honestly, I think as a musician myself, I love the guitar-driven songs. And I can see that this is different from all the other records. And this is more a guitar record. And you're not afraid to get all greasy at those riffs. And it just sounds so good. I think this is actually the best one yet. But it has come a long way. From 2019, you guys were originally recording with Rich Robinson from the Black Crows in Nashville. That had to stop. So let's begin the story there, and let's work up to today.
Yeah, we started the record in December in Nashville, Tennessee, at a studio called the Tracking Room, with Rich Robinson producing. We've been friends with Rich for a really long time. He came up to Canada to open some shows for us, and John Angus and I went down to the States and opened for his solo band, the Magpie Salute. And we've always wanted to work with him. He's a super talented guy, obviously. And we kind of started out with this record, like obviously not knowing what was going to come in 2020. But we had 3 songs done by Christmas time of 2019. And that sort of was the beginning of the record. And we were supposed to go back down to Nashville to do a few more songs with him in late March of 2020. But we all know what happened then. So it kind of threw the plans out the window. And the rest of the record kind of was done it was done piecemeal and in between lockdowns and stay-at-home orders, and we did a lot of writing over Zoom, and we kind of tried to keep it going and adapt to the chaos that we were kind of thrust into. And we ended up back in the studio in August of 2020 with Derek Hoffman, who produced our album Civilianaires, and we did 3 songs with him at Chicasa during a time when the COVID numbers were down and we could get together in small groups to record. And then we went back and wrote some more, and then we finished the record off with Eric Ratz, famous Canadian producer Eric Ratz, in December of 2020. And that's how the record kind of came about.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add is like by way of backstory, like the way you set it up, George, about it being kind of like a live, greasy, riffy rock record is, that was sort of the intention from the very onset, was to try to be a little more live off the floor and a little more guitar driven, just because of we sort of naturally backlash what we last did, and I think Civilianaires was a real departure for us, and it really did a lot of great things, and it had a lot of good songs, but I feel like it was very much created in the box. It was very much a creation of, most of us sat on a couch and one guy stepped to the console and did their part one at a time, and then the producer toyed with it, and so everybody else sat on the couch. We just didn't want to sit on the couch. We wanted to get out on the floor and play live together. And everybody that we worked with, whether it was Rich, Derek, or Eric, we sort of insisted that they conform to that sort of mindset, which for Rich was totally natural. For Derek, it was a bit outside of his comfort zone, and Eric is sort of used to it too. So that's the sort of cohesion that you get through working with those 3 different producers, is like, it was all tracked live off the floor, the band playing together and writing a lot of riff heavy music.
Yeah. And we're up to today, which the album released today. It's the 19th of November. Tomorrow you're on tour in your home province of Halifax. You guys are in the Hammer right now, but it must feel good to start things over again and get back on the stage, or look forward to doing that once again on a full-time basis for some quite time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely something that we missed. I mean, we did have a pretty busy summer, thankfully. Gigs kind of started to pop up here, there, and everywhere, and they were kind of all over the map. Like some of them were big summer festival outdoor shows, other ones were just like multiple nights with limited capacity. So, but it will be nice to get back into somewhat of a consistent touring cycle where we're playing like the same types of rooms and kind of using the same version of the band, so because we were doing stuff like 3-piece acoustic and 5-piece and 4-piece, and now we'll be the regular Trews show.
It was a summer of pivoting, the catchword of 2022 and 2021, just trying to be really flexible with how we can, what kind of rooms we can play. And the last thing we ever want to do is to fully give up playing, because it's more than just a source of income for us or a source of like popularity. It's kind of like a whole lifestyle, it's like, it's a way of staying sane, and it's a hobby and then some.
This is such a story. The band, where you guys came from, you guys played the Rock Search back in St. Catharines, where many other bands have been. Obviously they've won and they've gone far, like the Glorious Sons, and up to now, 7 studio records. It must really mean something to you to still be together and going strong, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's we've always been all in right from day one, and we just never really took our foot off the gas. Even when the pandemic hit, it was just our survival instincts to kind of adapt immediately and start doing live streams. It wasn't there was never really a backup plan, so we just kind of had to survive any way we could, and luckily, it's music and we love it, and we love writing it and singing it and playing it, so it's not like that part's not hard. It's just trying to figure out ways to keep moving forward. That has definitely been challenging over the last 2 years, but I think it's just been the instinct to keep making music and pushing forward and pushing ourselves and trying to be better. We still feel like we could write better songs. We still feel like we can be better players. That never ends for me. It's constantly trying to improve yourself and get better at your craft and try to measure up to the greats. And that's been our drive ever since,
Absolutely. You guys have a song to play, a few songs to play tonight. This is pretty cool. The Trews Live. What song are you going to play first off the new record?
We'll do a song called I Want to Play. I want to get on a train in a global pandemic. I want to go so far away I can't get back. I want to tell her I miss her without sounding pathetic. I want to know she's been waiting to hear me say that. I'm like a broken melody. I need some harmony. What's a verse without a chorus line? I want to play, I want to celebrate, I want to sing along with everybody. I'm not alright, I'm here alone tonight, I'm on the line. If I can't be in love, I want to play, I want to celebrate, I want to play, I want to celebrate. I'm gonna finish Netflix in a global pandemic. I'm gonna write her a million stupid love songs. I'm gonna look for signs and get all prophetic. Tell myself she's coming back and it won't be long. I'm thinking about a divorcee who's half Chinese and loves me for a little while. I wanna play, I wanna celebrate, I wanna sing along with everybody. I'm not alright, I'm here alone tonight, I'm on the line. If I can't be in love, I wanna play, I wanna celebrate, 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 I gonna tell myself you gotta go to hell while I'm keeping score on my blessing. Lord, I'm gonna eat bread up to the Lord above until she comes around. I wanna play, I wanna celebrate, I wanna sing along with everybody. I'm not alright, I'm here alone tonight, I'm on the line. If I can be in love, I wanna play, I wanna celebrate, I wanna sing along with everybody. I'm not alright, I'm here alone tonight, I'm on the line. If I can be in love, I wanna play, I wanna celebrate, 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 I wanna play, yeah, I wanna celebrate, I wanna play, I wanna celebrate, I wanna play, I wanna celebrate, I wanna play.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. I want to play off the newest record, "The Wander" by the Trews. There were a few songs on this new record that don't have a click track. While you guys were recording it, what was the decision behind that to go with almost just like an open floor instead of having that guidance as you are producing the record?
Well, I just think that those kinds of things, like you know, click track and working in the box and using effects and correcting things after, they have their place and they have their purpose, but maybe they become like a little bit of a crutch in modern music. And if you're trying to sort of match the energy and spontaneity of some of the classic recordings, you're not going to get there adhering to a click track. It's just not that I have anything against that approach, and certainly we've used it and everybody's used it, but I just think, especially when we were cutting with Rich, he's like, I hate click tracks. Do you guys hate click tracks? And we're like, I think I kind of hate click tracks. He's like, well, let's not use one then. Okay. So all it forces you to do is just sort of you got to marry to the moment. You got to commit to the performance. You're not going to go back and change it. It's going to be very hard to edit anything after the fact. You can always overdub a little bit or, play along to it, but you're not going to be able to control many variables afterwards. So that is the whole thinking, and I think it led to some really spontaneous performances, especially the second radio single, which is a song called "Permission." We're sort of racing down the hill that whole song, and if we had been adhering to a metronome, it just wouldn't have had the same urgency. So that was the thinking there.
Do you think it gives it a bit more feel to be able to be almost kind of free while you're recording the song?
I think, yeah, for sure. And I think what's happening with the way people are producing records now is, you got to kind of risk going off the tracks altogether in order to really get something great. And I think we're all falling into a kind of a safe good with everybody producing in the box. Everything's always going to be good, but it's never going to be terrible or great. And rock and roll lies somewhere between terrible and great. So you got to have those takes where the vocals are pitchy, the guitars are out, it's kind of wobbly. When you get that thing, then sometimes you can catch the magic. And that's kind of where our band's always excelled live, because we don't play with clicks and it's all live and we're just going for moments, And I think, especially with Rich, we were just trying to go for moments, even at the risk of, maybe not sounding pretty at certain points. So, and like Janaka said earlier, it was a concerted effort to do so, because I think all of our favorite bands, that's where they lived, in that kind of moment where, oh man, this could all fall apart, and then it gets great.
Yeah. If you take any classic song, from a lot of different eras, but like anything like Street Fighting Man or like the Lemon Song by Zeppelin, none of those would hold up to the scrutiny of perfection. Like as far as if you tried to time it, you tried to make sure every note was perfectly in tune, none of them would live up to that scrutiny. But who gives a shit? It's such a weird idea that something would have to be perfect. It's like it's a bizarre concept, and we've all fallen victim to that thinking, because computers, like, as soon as you can see sound on a screen, you're tempted to correct it. I mean, it's like a human instinct, is you're tempted to correct it, but that's just sort of one of those things. A lot of things were gained, recording got cheaper, it got more democratized, more people could do it for themselves, but we lost something in that translation too. We lost like that sort of maybe like listening instead of looking at music. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of a big shift that's happened.
I fully agree with you. I think it got easier to change what you just did, right?
Yeah, it's an editing.
Sometimes
Digital recording is editing software, so it gets used for that purpose. You know, it's anyway. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
no, it's all good. I just meant to say things, you can change things. You can just go back, like you were just saying. Digital recording, it's editing software, right?
Yeah.
And you guys have accidentally owned your recording skills during this time as well. And I know John Angus you've produced many records. Worked with a band called Revive the Rose out of Welland, Ontario. I still want to try their bar down lager. That's for sure. I'm going to make that one of my priorities one day. And
I didn't produce that. I didn't produce the beer. I'm not making beer yet.
No, I'm just saying in general. In general.
No, they're a great little band. Producing has been a great side hobby and passion of mine as well. And going all the way back to the Glorious Sons, in fact, you know, you mentioned the Rock Search. I entered them into that because I was producing them at the time. So we just saw them recently, and it's always great to catch up with them. And yeah, of course, you know, I really have nothing against the modern era of recording and how records are made these days, because whatever gets you there, you know, at the end of the day, that's what's important. But we've certainly kind of entered into a phase where we much prefer an organic approach.
Absolutely. I want to go back to your original name, One-Eyed Trouser. The Monty Python, the meaning of life. It's why that name, and how did you guys go from One-Eyed Trouser to the Trews, and what's the basis behind your name?
One-Eyed Trouser Snake was my high school band name. Back in Newfoundland, like before me and Angus and Jack even got together. And it was because me and my buddy Jimmy Barter were super into Monty Python's The Meaning of Life, and we just liked the name One-Eyed Trouser Snake, you know, and you know, and it means, you know, dick. And that was funny to a bunch of prepubescent or pubescent grade 9s. And and then when me and Angus and Jack got together in Nova Scotia in the mid to late 90s, we wanted a band name and thought One-Eyed Trouser was good without the snake on it. And there was a lot of eyed bands at the time. I mean, I don't know. And it was like, it just kind of stuck, and we started doing gigs around town, and we were kind of like an overnight hit, like in Antigonish. We could get hundreds of people to come see our shows right away. So, and we were like just a cover band, and you know, the band name stuck, you know, that's the way it works. And then, like, you know, fast forward to like 2000, we shortened it to like Trouser, and then we moved up to Ontario, and we were about to put out our EP in 2002. And like the night before we put out the EP, we got a cease and desist order from like an acid jazz band named Trouser saying we couldn't use the band name. And then Jack's mom, we were like, you know, panicking, trying to get a band name before we put the record out. And Jack's, our bass player, his mom called and said, "You guys should call your band the Trews. That means it's the same thing as trousers. The Trews are like Scottish pants, you know." And then once again, we put out an EP, not knowing if we were going to get to make another one, as the Trews, and kind of got popular, got signed, got a record deal, name stayed, and then fast forward to 2021.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And we have one more song to play tonight. Ishmael and Maggie. This one takes us a bit further back. What's the basis behind this song? What's the story behind Ishmael and Maggie?
Well, it's a song that I wrote, like, I think, like, we moved up to Niagara Falls in 2001, and kind of threw caution to the wind, and we just couldn't really get where we wanted to be in Nova Scotia, and we had stuff to learn. We had to figure out how to be like a better band and a more professional band. And when we moved to Niagara Falls, it really got real. We're like, oh, we don't have anything to fall back on except for this band, and we were all broke. And I remember just staying home one Sunday, and I wrote this chorus, and I had it forever, and I could never finish it. And when we were in Austin, Texas, with our longtime collaborator and producer, co-writer Gordy Johnson from Big Sugar, we were trying to write songs for our second record. And Gordy's like, "Well, what do you got?" And I think it was like midnight on day 2 of our writing session, and I played him this, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" And then we wrote the rest of it in about 15 minutes, and it became Ishmael and Maggie, which is a song we still play every night. So we're gonna play it for you now.
Let's hear it.
Hello, my name is Ishmael. Forget the one without the way. I'll tell you a broken-hearted sailor. Maggie took my loyalty. I treated her like royalty. It started with such promise, ends in failure. Oh, my love, I can't stand to be alone. And I've been drinking too much, I better go home. And I think I'm better off alone. But I've been thinking too much, I better go home. I'll hail the queen of cruelty, she is duly been anointed. His final words of majesty had to say. He who expects nothing never will be disappointed. Nothing's what she left me, so I guess I'm okay. Oh, my love, I can't stand to be alone. And I've been drinking too much, I better go home. And I think here we all stand alone. But I've been thinking too much, I better go home. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Promise made to tavern pay. It's on my way to a better mate. Fool to think that I could ever change her. King upon my master throne, I vowed to never drink alone. I only drink with friends or total strangers. We're all broken hearted here. We're all broken hearted here. We're all broken hearted here. We're all broken. Oh, my love, I can't stand to be alone. And I've been drinking too much, I better go home. And I think here we all stand alone. But I've been thinking too much, I better go home. 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 I better go home.
Thank you guys. That was absolutely awesome. A dream come true for many people watching right now. They have a new record, the Trews, available right now called The Wanderer. They are on tour tomorrow, starting off in Halifax. Back on the road we are. Thank you so much, John Angus and Colin. It's been a pleasure. And I want to have the last word here. I want to tell you that you make Canadians proud with the music you make. And every time you guys grace the stage, it's always an amazing time. and we all feel good, and we are all rooting for you. The Wanderer, available now, is probably the most real and the best record you guys have ever put out.
Thank you very much, man.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.